Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday. Welcome to a very laid-back coffee talk this morning. I'm still recovering. I was not feeling well last night.
And I only got a couple hours of sleep.
So, rough night last night. Interesting week, though. Also slightly distracted by Supernatural, which happens to be on TV. Pockets thought that'd be a good idea.
I like Supernatural.
So do I. It's a little distracting. But it works.
Blame yourself.
I'm not blaming myself, though.
You got me into Supernatural.
I know. Went to the drive-in on Friday. Went to go see Meg 2 and Talk to Me. And gotta say, they were both pretty good movies. I did not like the first Meg.
I did.
I still don't.
I do.
Second one was better. It wasn't great. There were still parts that I felt were hokey, cheesy, and didn't make much sense.
It was still fun.
But it was better than the first one. It had a better plot, I think. Was slightly more believable. And you actually got to see the shark a little bit more, which was pretty cool.
Let's see more sharks. Lots of teeth.
Yes, lots of teeth. Lots of giant mouths. But it was a Megalodon movie, so, I mean, that's what I was expecting. It's part of the reason why I didn't like the first one. You know what's a good Megalodon movie? And it's better than Meg, is Black Demon.
Yeah, I was gonna put that on later.
Pockets made me watch it.
Yeah, that's the cam. Yeah, I made Josh the camera.
It was.
That was on HD.
Well, it was good. Like, I like that movie. That's a good Meg movie. Like, that one's actually, like, you know, got some scary parts to it. It shows the shark. The shark's actually menacing. It doesn't look like a cartoon. Good morning, lover of wolves.
Good morning.
But yeah, Meg 2 was good. Was better than the first Meg. Was still not as good as Black Demon. But it was good. Also, I think Jason Stamos, is that his name? Whatever his name is. The guy, the transporter guy. The guy that's in the Meg movies. The main character. I can never pronounce his name. In the first, like, movie, like, again, I'm just saying, like, you have this big name actor, it's a beach movie, it's hot out, and in the second Meg movie, he's wearing a long sleeve shirt through the whole thing. So it just makes me think, like, maybe he slimmed down for, like, another role or something, and they were trying not to, like, I don't care, but, like, I'm sure my wife noticed. Like, and it didn't make much sense. Like, why is this guy swimming around in the tropics wearing a long sleeve shirt? Like, it's not that I'm missing, like, man muscles on TV. Like, could care less. But that didn't make much sense to me. Why is he wearing a sweater?
Yeah, because it just weigh him down and make him slower.
Like, that's what, like, the dude's trying to swim through the water, and I'm thinking, like, maybe if you take off that big-ass fucking hoodie, that would work better. And I'm just thinking, like, maybe, I don't know, he slimmed down for, like, a different role that he did recently and just didn't get a chance to buff back out. So they're like, here, wear this and just cover it up. I mean, I would hate trying to act, like, in the tropics wearing a sweater. Does the dog get eaten in the movie? I can't give away any spoilers. The dog gets eaten in Jaws. It's not a spoiler anymore. If you haven't seen that movie, then
Poor Pippin.
go watch it.
He was an appetizer.
He's good. Talk to Me I went into that a little bit skeptical.
That was actually pretty good.
I
until
was,
the end.
see, Pockets didn't like the ending. I did like the ending. It had a good twist to it. I liked the twist ending. And it didn't, like, ruin the rest of the movie. Like, I went into that movie pretty skeptical. Like, I was like, okay. Like, everyone says this is the scariest movie of the year and all this, that, and the other thing. It was good. It had some disturbing imagery in it. It had a really cool premise. I liked the MacGuffin, the object of the movie that kind of pushed the story forward. And I liked the ending. Pockets didn't like the ending, but I did. I kind of liked how they, like, you know, turned it right back around on itself. And I was like, ooh, cool, twist ending. And they left it there. It reminded me of, like, a creepypasta, like, on screen. The sleeves are a power move, I guess, right? Like, if you can swim around with those, like, you're a total badass. But I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, the director was probably like, here, you need to cover up your skinny arms and wear this sweater through the whole movie. Didn't make much sense to me, but whatever. Maybe it was a total power move and I just completely misinterpreted it. We're getting a phone call. Oh, it is my father. He's going to have to wait. I will call him back after Blood and Beans. So, you're all going to be subjected to hearing the phone ring. I don't think you'll hear the answering machine, though, because it is awfully quiet. Could always do this, though. I will mute the microphone when the answering machine picks up. Good idea, me. There, message has been left. I'll call him back. My parents they're funny. I've been doing this YouTube thing. Not Blood and Beans, but, like, I've been doing this YouTube thing for almost 10 years. Having, like, you know, stories on Saturday, you know, going live on YouTube, you know, every Saturday, stuff like that. My mother still thinks I go sit in the woods somewhere and read into a microphone every Saturday.
Your mother thought everybody in the cemetery was Rip.
She doesn't understand. That's a different story. We'll get to that. But then I'm telling the marshmallow story.
Fuck you.
But she, like, I try to explain to her, like, it's pre-recorded, it's edited, I add music and, like, video imagery to it and stuff. They don't really watch my channel. I just realized that the microphone's, like, not even pointed in our direction. They don't even watch the channel. Like, they don't know. So, like, I do tell them, like, I stream every Sunday. Every Sunday I have a stream on my channel. It's called Blood and Beans. I sip coffee and talk about nothing. And they still always, like, every Saturday, oh, why didn't you call? You're calling us this afternoon. I do Blood and Beans in the morning. I do a live stream. Oh. They don't get it. It's fine. Yeah, they'll be at the lake, for sure. He'll definitely be there. Either that or I call them every Sunday. One or the other. I usually call them. Recently I've been forgetting. But I don't like calling my parents when I'm having issues. Because I don't like my mom and my dad to worry. So if things aren't, like, hunky-dory, like, I don't call. And right now I'm struggling to get back and forth to work with one car because my other car is in the shop. It's going to cost me thousands of dollars to get it fixed. And yeah, and I got a bunch of things coming up. I've got I have a family reunion this coming weekend at Locust Lake. that I got to go to. And then I've got a big party coming up for Labor Day weekend. A bunch of people are coming up to visit me at Locust Lake. Got to drive back and forth to Massachusetts twice to go get one of my friends to come to Locust Lake. And I got to do all this with one car. So that is kind of a big stress on me at the moment. Plus, I have to use that car to get back and forth to work. And I also have to have the money to do all these things on top of paying off the car that is getting fixed right now, which will take a good 4 to 5 weeks to be fixed anyway. So, needless to say, I am a little stressed. Work's going well. I'm still happy going to work, still loving my job. So, I mean, that's good. Not everybody can say that they like doing what they do, that they enjoy their job, but I absolutely love my job. So, and job's still going well. And my boss assures me that there's still, like, he has tons and tons of work. So I'm crossing my fingers right now and praying that he has enough work for me to go ahead and pay off the car and then also get some more money saved up for just in case that I don't have work. So that way I can look for work and not, like, you know, my whole ship doesn't sink. So basically I need work through November, October at the very least. And it's already August. It seems like that's so far away, but it's not. It's right around the corner. And I'm sure the work will still be there. I'm sure that he'll still have plenty of work that needs to be done. But once it gets so cold, are we going to be working? Is there going to be temporary heat? I don't know. That's an issue. And right now, because I'm 1099, I'm not paying into like unemployment or anything like that. So I don't get unemployment if I don't have work. So big stresses, big things to be thinking about at the moment. But the trick is to keep working and just keep sticking money away, right? As long as I'm working and as long as I'm saving money and putting money away, we're in good shape. Bills are being paid. There's money being put away. I just gave my mechanic a very large down payment on the car so that he could get started working on it because he's got to order parts for it. I blew a head gasket. Well, the car blew a head gasket and it's got a bad turbo charger on it. So he's got to get all that broken down. It's a Subaru, so the engine lays flat instead of up and down, which is great for driving, but it's not great for when you're trying to work on it because you got to take basically half the engine apart just to get to what you need to get to fix the head gasket. And then, you know, obviously the parts, the labor, it's expensive. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, and everything works out good. And like I said, I'm working, I'm saving money. You know, a friend of mine's dad always said, if you drive a car like it's made of glass, it'll last you. And I do. I make sure I drive the Explorer like it's made of glass. Check the tires, make sure the oil's good. And yeah, it's only got 63,000 miles on it, so you know, the engine on it itself is in good shape. It is a 2003, so it has had some work done to it in the past. It's been the back end completely rebuilt. The emergency brake and both shocks rebuilt, brakes all the way around, rotors, hub in the front on the driver's side had to be replaced. Transmission lines, brake lines, oil leak. It had those issues, and all that stuff's been replaced. So I'm hoping now that the Explorer is in decent shape, and she does run very well. Knocking on wood. So, but I'll call my dad back when the stream's over. How is everyone else? How are all of you? And like I said, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit logy. I was not feeling well last night. Good morning, Ahu? Ahu? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but I tried. I hope you are well. I'm glad to hear that, lover of wolves. I'm glad you're doing well. One foot in front of the other. We deal with the first problem, we get through that, and get to the next one, right? And that's pretty sound logic. And that's also what they were talking about in Meg 2.
I was going to say, that's a Meg 2 reference.
I know, but that's literally how I get through life. You work through one problem, and then once you're through that, you work on the next one. You work the problems one by one. I do have backup plans. The Subaru very well could be fixed before Labor Day. That is a good 4 weeks away, so it's possible. So I might be back to 2 cars before then. And if something did happen, I know that my mechanic would take the Explorer in and fix it for me pro bono and let me pay it off, just so I could get back and forth to work, so I could keep paying the Subaru, because he's that kind of mechanic. So there are things that I could do, moves I could make, strings that I could pull. I'd like not to. We'll get there. Eventually, I'd like to get a new pair of boots. My work boots, man. The ones I got, they're killing me. A new pair of boots would do me wonders, because my feet at work it's so bad. But not until I get the freaking Subaru paid off. It's got to get done first. Work, yeah. Work can be stressful. Even where I work, it still gets stressful from time to time. But it's different working. It's because of the painters. But yeah. Thursday was interesting. I don't really know if I should talk about that on stream though. But Thursday was fun. Had to do with a chocolate bar that I got from a store. And it's amazing that I got this chocolate bar from a store. Like, I went to a store to go get, my dispensary bought marijuana, because it is legal now here. And I asked if they had edibles, and the guy said no, but I will have a chocolate bar tomorrow, which is a different type of edible. And I had some of that on Thursday. But Thursday was spent, I woke up and went to work and was stuck inside paint fumes all day. Fucking painters were air spraying aerosolized shellac. And so I can smell the difference. And they masked everything off, right? They masked off the tub in the bathroom, and they masked off all the windows, so you can't open any window. And they aerosolized sprayed shellac. I walk into my boss, like, these are the rooms I gotta work in, right? I gotta do the ceilings in here, and I can smell the difference. There's latex paint, which is one thing. I don't mind latex paint. You can air spray that much as you want. Acrylic, not the best to inhale, but I can basically withstand it with some breaks. Enamel, shellac, epoxy, that shit you're not supposed to be inhaling in a poorly ventilated area. You're not. Shellac's actually supposed to be rolled on. You're not supposed to spray it because it's an alcohol base. It makes the air very flammable, for one. If anybody lights a match or a lighter, the whole room could just be engulfed in a big woof of flames, because makes the air very, very toxic, very flammable. And two, if you spend too much time in there, you get very drunk. You get really dizzy and tingly and lightheaded and floaty, which can make it very dangerous to stand on scaffolding, to really work on anything. I work with sharp tools all day long. So inhaling alcohol, 40 proof air all day, not the most ideal thing. So then after I did that all day, I went home, had bar night with my wife, had a few drinks, a few shots, and some of my dispensary goods, and also had those chocolates, and had the second half of bar night in virtual reality with everybody at a place called Club Echo, and that was interesting. Had a lot of fun. It just amazes me that 20 years ago, 15 years ago, anything that I'm buying at these dispensary stores now, before I had to used to have to hide it. And I remember that was part of the thing. I went to a 4th of July and on the river, and we went and we set up by the bands. We're sitting on our right in front of the stage, and I got my nicotine vape pen, and I got my my other vape pen from the store, and I'm just sitting there in the grass, and I'm vaping off one pen, and then I vape off the other. And I'm like, oh, now what? We already got our food and stuff, and I'm like, well, what did we used to do? I remember not being just sitting here and staring at the stage, and I remember, oh, yeah, that's right. It used to be a whole thing. It used to be, where am I going to park? Where am I going to park in relation to where I'm going to sit? And where I'm going to sit has to be a very special place to sit. It has to be a place that is close enough to a place that is secluded, like the woods, a path, something like that, but also far enough away that I could get there without being noticed. You don't want people seeing you walk into there. So where you sit in relation to this certain area that you have to scout out is very important. And then you have to set up, then you go to that area very inconspicuously, because you don't want people seeing you go there. You go into the woods or wherever you're sitting. You smoke a joint or whatever you're doing, and then you leave the woods to go back to your area. And now you spend the rest of your time trying to make sure other people don't notice and don't realize what you were doing, because you're all paranoid about it. And that fills up a good 2 to 2.5 hours of time. And that's not an experience anymore. That's not something that people do. Now people just kind of sit down on their blankets and hit their pens. And I don't know, there was something fun about it before. Good morning, ISB. How are you? Happy Sunday. Ooh, sounds like a good story. Actually, I think I might have heard that one, possibly. Maybe not, though. I am sorry that your coworkers are jerks. I have to deal with jerky coworkers and jerky trade people and painters that air spray shellac. Oh, it's horrible. And it's because the ceilings that they're using in these apartments, they're hardwood, and they're the original hardwood from the Huck Finn warehouse. They're not replacing them. And they've been sitting there. They're sitting there. It's the whole decking across the warehouse for years with no rain or nothing. So decades. So the wood is so thirsty for moisture that when they spray it with paint, nothing else hides. Everything bleeds except for shellac. And even the shellac, they have to spray it 2 or 3 times. It's not necessarily the painter's fault. And I even told the guys that were doing it, I'm like, it's not your fault. He's like, is you sure it's okay that I come in here and spray? I'm like, do what you got to do. You have a boss. He's telling you need to do this, and I'm not going to stop you. You got to do your job. I'm going to do my job. and you're not going to stop me either. And that's just the way it be. ISB says good morning, and Shiloh is at her sister's house.
Good morning.
She spent some time with her older sister this weekend.
She went to Great Escape.
Yeah, that's where she went. She went to Great Escape. I was going to take her again this year, but again, because of the Subaru and fixing the car, it's literally been absolutely impossible. My mechanic, like, he wanted a down payment, and like it was everything I had saved in a month. So. Since July 4th. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go. You gotta take things day by day, right? Today I'm on this side of the dirt, and I have an opportunity to work on things and set things right and make things better and move forward and all that stuff. So today is a blessing. Pockets is cooking. I believe she's making eggs.
I'm making a breakfast thing.
She's making a breakfast thing. That's what she said. That's Pocket's words. I am making a breakfast thing.
The tater tots left over from last night. I mushed them all up. I put 2 eggs in that. Mixed that up. And then I took a piece of kibasi, cut it up into tiny little pieces, and then I threw that in.
Yes, ISB. I do have other children. Pockets does as well. And Shiloh is the child that we have together. When I met Pockets, she has, like I said, she has other children, and 2 of her daughters came to live with us. They were 3 and 4 when I met them, and I started taking care of them. Eventually I was putting, one on the preschool bus while the other one was being walked to kindergarten. I'd be there to get them, home off the bus. And then when they were 4 and 5, 5 and 6, or just about 5 and 6. They were almost 5 and 6, like a month away. We got a phone call. We just got our first apartment together, me and Pockets. We were dating. 1-bedroom apartment. We just got it set up. Our bedroom with our little TV and our DVD player and our living room. We didn't even have cable yet. And we got a phone call asking if the 2 girls, Monica and Sabrina, could come live with us because their grandmother couldn't take care of them anymore. And I didn't even ask Pockets. I answered the phone. I didn't even ask her. I just immediately said yes. I was like, yes. I didn't hesitate. I'm like, absolutely. 100%. Yes. Let them come live here. Then I told her. She is happy. She was surprised that I didn't ask her. But
I was surprised that my mother gave my kids back. She's the one who took them in the first place.
That's a whole nother story. But anyways, so I gave the girls the bedroom. The bedroom was the largest room in the house. The living room was a little bit smaller than the bedroom. The kitchen was the size of a closet, and the bathroom was about half the size of a closet. And we had a large porch that wasn't insulated or heated or cooled. And the electric wiring was all messed up. Like, we were paying for the car lot downstairs, so our electric bill was like $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. So obviously, eventually, we couldn't pay the electric bill. So when they turned our electric off, we still had a couple of working outlets in our apartment that we were using that were part of other people's apartments. And they tried to call the cops and the landlord and everything else, saying we couldn't use it, but technically it's an outlet in our apartment, and we were more than able to use it, and nobody was able to stop us. And you gotta do what you gotta do. I can't pay for a car lot. I can't pay $1,700 a month in electric.
The police department didn't even notice, like, the 87 pot plants, baby pot plants I was, like, growing.
But anyway, we gave the kids the bedroom, and Pockets and I took the living room. We had a pull-out couch.
Not soon after I got pregnant with Shiloh.
And we had that couch, when it pulled out, it took out almost the entire living room. Not soon after. We lived in that apartment for 2.5 years. We lived in that little apartment. And Shiloh was born the last 3 months we were there. She was born in January, and we moved out in March. So we were there for over 2 years without Shiloh.
I was still on bed rest with Shiloh. That was fun.
And we lived in the city.
A lot of pies.
Above a used car lot. And the school would not provide bus transportation for the kids, for the girls. Oh, Shiloh went to, she's at her older sister's house. She went to Great Escape amusement park this weekend with her older sister. Anything under a mile, the school would not provide transportation. And we lived 9/10 of a mile from the school on a main road, like the main drag with lots of traffic. I worked construction, so a lot of the times I was out of the house before the kids were even gone from, before they even had to get up for school. So Pockets would walk them back and forth. And then in the wintertime, when it would snow, like the shops and stuff wouldn't shovel off the sidewalks. They would just leave them. And yeah, I did, because I was having my wife and my 2 little girls having to walk in the road because they couldn't walk in the snow all the way to school. Their clothes would be soaking wet by the time they got there. Like the snow was deep. They had to walk in the road, dangerous, main road. And I told them, no, you're not doing that. And I stopped them, and my kids didn't go to school for the rest of the week. And then eventually I did. I called the city. I think it was the mayor. I called the mayor, and I told him my kids are, I called the mayor's office, and I told them, I said, this is what's going on. The shops and people, they're not shoveling off the sidewalks, and my kids, they're having to walk in the street because the school is not providing transportation. Not walking my kids on the main roads, on icy main roads back and forth to school. It's dangerous. So they're not going to go to school until the sidewalks are cleared off or until they have transportation. And the next day, every sidewalk was clear.
Yeah, because it's ordinance that they have to shovel off their shit.
I know that.
So they probably were being threatened with a really big fine.
It was a couch bed. It was a pull-out couch bed.
Yeah, I had to spend like 6 months in.
Yes, Pockets was on bed rest the entire time.
That's,
High-risk pregnancy.
that was high risk for all the other ones too.
No. Whatever.
But I was never on bed rest. Thank God Aldi's was just across the little side street.
Good morning, Somber. How are you?
Hello, Somber. How do you like your breakfast?
It's very tasty, thank you.
Isn't leftovers fun?
Yeah. It's kielbasa and tater tots and eggs. All scrambled together. It's very good. I'm trying not to inhale it while I'm on stream. No, Love Seat is a 2-seated couch.
Yep.
So, a couch has 3 cushions, and it's made for 3 people. A Love Seat is a little bit smaller. It's got 2 cushions, and it's made for 2 people. And a pull-out couch, or a pull-out Love Seat, is basically you take the cushions off, and then you pull a bed out of it. And it unfolds, and you have basically a bed. And that's what we had. We had a couch where you took the cushions off,
It was a full-size couch.
you pulled the bed out, and it became a full-size bed. And
Tell
it was
them how much we paid for it.
I don't remember, like $1.78.
$1.75. Thank you, Salvation
But
Army.
it was very uncomfortable. There were the bars that went across. Oh man, that mattress was not. And we slept on it for 2 years. It was not a comfortable mattress. But yeah, hey.
You pick up a couch for $1.75.
What do you
don't
expect?
fucking complain.
No, and we got the kids. That was the whole point. Like
Yeah. I got
you
my
want the
babies
kids?
back.
Yeah,
I was so happy I
absolutely,
got my babies
man.
back.
And that was great. Having Monica and Sabrina when they were little, kindergarten and first grade.
They pulled an April Fool's joke.
Driving them around. And there'd be like two little Furbies in the back seat. Like one would say something and the other one would say something back to it. And then they go back and forth.
They
and
both
Pockets,
there in helium.
and Pockets and I'd just be in the front laughing. Getting Sabrina to believe that the Blue Ribbon restaurant was actually the moon.
That was hilarious. She believed that for years.
She did. Yep, she believed
for years.
She believed it was the moon.
Sorry to talk with my mouth full.
It looked like a Sanford and Son couch, that pull-out couch we got.
Yeah, it was that old, thatch, yellow, and brown pattern, scratchy, to the touch fucking fabric that your grandparents had.
It's like an old 1970s couch.
Yeah, it basically was. Or older, actually, because my grandmother
The couch was comfortable, but the couch itself was comfortable, but the bed was not.
God, I remember falling asleep while playing Scrabble. Ooh, excuse me. That was good, bro.
But yeah, I have other children. Shiloh's my last. Shiloh's my youngest.
I have Jessica,
she's
Monica,
working on
Sabrina,
going on 14 years old now.
and PJ. I have a boy. I have 4 girls, 1 boy.
But Shiloh's the youngest.
She's the last.
Definitely, financially supported, and I've talked to, the other children as much as I possibly could, but it was Monica, Sabrina, and Shiloh that I was able to raise in my household. And those were the kids that I raised. So yeah, before Shiloh, there was a whole period of time where I had 2 other girls, and then there was a whole period of time after that where I had 3 girls that I was raising. Yeah, we were raising, yes, absolutely. But now, Shiloh's 14. That's it.
She's 13.
Well, she will be.
13.
She's gonna be 14.
Okay, let's not rush it. All right, I already want to put her in the dryer at the fucking laundromat.
She's gonna be 14. She's very, very intelligent. She's surprisingly.
She's intelligent to the point of being an anxiety person. She's a very
She's very mature
person.
for her age. She really is. For her
God,
age,
she is.
She's very, very mature.
And she's hilarious.
She's got a great head on her shoulders.
She's got my dad.
She has life plans. She wants to know. She knows what she wants to do and what she wants to go to college for. She knows what her backup plan is going to be if that doesn't go well. She's on National Honor Society or Junior National Honor Society for being on honor roll for so long because she worked so hard at her grades in middle school because she panicked.
Honor roll is because it's everything she did, all the awards she's gotten.
Then I asked her and she says, well, she goes, Dad, these grades, this is what's going to help me get into college so I can get in a good job someday. She's 13. This is where her brain is at. This is what she's worried about at 13 years old. And I think that she does deal with some things that maybe she shouldn't have to at her age. But she handles it really well. And I'm not going to stop her if she's making really good forward progress. I'm very, very proud of her. But she's the youngest. And
she's a very caring soul, though. She's very loving. She can be very loving.
No, Shiloh's extremely compassionate.
See her with cats. She hand-raises
See her with
the
people.
Kittens.
She's good with kids. She's good with animals. She's very compassionate.
When she comes home.
When she turns 18, she's going to end up moving out. She already knows exactly what she wants to do and where she wants to go. Has a plan. And then I'll be it. I'll be done raising kids. I'll be done raising kids in about 4.5 years.
Be like, no, Aubrey, don't go near something shiny in the road.
Couch when I was little. The burlap crap. Yeah, it's what it's like. It's like that's couch is like like a burlap. Yep, that's almost exactly like the kind of material it was.
Yeah.
And yes, Shiloh is Somber has met Shiloh. He's had conversations, sat down and had conversations with her. She impresses most people that she talks to.
She let loose the last time we went camping, and that was funny. Just watching her let loose, dance around. Come on, Mom, let's dance. Oops, I kicked the dog. Come here, Eastwood. I'm so sorry. Normally, she hates this fucking dog. It's hilarious. I know she was having fun. She probably was like severely overtired. It was like after midnight.
No, she cut loose the last time we were in it.
And she's bouncing around, dancing to the music, hitting the dog. Oh, chasing after the dog, trying to apologize to the dog. It was hilarious.
No, very, very proud of her. So, but yeah, I've raised children already. They're the other children. They're out of the house. They're 20 and 21, going on 21 and 22.
No, one of them's going on 21.
Yeah, they're 20 and 21. So I said, Sabrina will be 21. Monica will be 22.
Born in 2002, almost born in 2003.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
God, they're so hard to keep track of.
I know exactly when all of them were born. I know their birth dates, their birth years, and know how old they were. It doesn't matter. I still know.
I remember PJ's birthday, April 19th, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I only remember that because Jessica's is September 19th. Which is kind of funny.
But they're older now, doing their own thing. Everything that's going good for them is, they've done for themselves. And everything that's going bad for them is, it's all mine and their mother's fault.
Yep.
But such is the way of a young 20-year-old. I remember when I was that age, man. Now, I don't know. Did I really blame my parents? I think I blamed them for quite a bit, yeah.
I don't know. By that time, I had
usually
kids,
for
and
misunderstanding.
I was apologizing to my parents.
No, back when I was at 20, 21, I partied all the time. Yeah, I didn't really see things quite clearly. I didn't think my parents understood the way of life like I did. Like a college kid does, right? A college kid goes to college and they start learning a little bit and they think they have the world completely figured out. That was me in my young 20s. It honestly really took me until I was about almost 30.
Yeah, I kept
to really kind of understand exactly.
Like, did I do this as a kid? Was I like this as
what
a
my
teenager?
parents put in, how hard they work.
I'm so sorry.
It took me some time. I kind of understood that beforehand, but I don't know. Not as much as I did when I was 30, I guess. But, you don't raise kids, you don't love kids because you expect them to love you back, because you expect them to be grateful. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. Those kids needed love. They needed parents. They needed something.
Not my mother scaring them all the time.
And they needed something stable. And yeah, I was young. Yeah, I wasn't maybe a perfect parent, but I definitely tried.
Gee, how often of the times did they get McChickens?
Very much so. They always got food. Yes, honey. I fed them.
No, they would give you those little puppy dog eyes. I know them.
Yeah, I know.
Then
it wasn't McChickens. It's because we'd walk by a KFC on the way to school
KFC.
And on the way back from school, and they liked their Monica even now. She gets hot wings now. I can't eat them. And I love hot food. I eat ghost pepper. I eat, hot food. I'm completely fine with hot food. Monica gets fucking chicken wings, and I can't eat them. They're too fucking hot. They hurt. And I don't know how she does it. She's so tiny, too. She's like 4'9".
4'8".
And she just pounds these wings. They melt my freaking face off. They're so fucking hot.
I'm still the tallest.
I remember when she was little, first grade, second grade, we were walking back and forth to school. on the way back from school almost every day. Can I get a buffalo snacker? So I'd get her a buffalo snacker, and then I'd get Sabrina a honey barbecue one because Sabrina didn't like the spicy ones. And then I'd get a buffalo snacker because I liked them. And, yeah. Yes, they got plenty of... I fed them. I'm not going to say, I love those kids so much, I bought them food.
No, but it was you walking them home from school. It was a whole routine, is what I'm saying. It's cute. I'm emphasizing the cuteness of the routine.
Well, again, you can't... Two very, very sweet little girls.
Now they're evil.
They're not evil. They're in their 20s, and they're living their lives, and they are doing their own things. They see all the mistakes that we made, and we did. And I've told them that when we were growing up. Shiloh knows it too. It's part of the reason why Shiloh is the way that she is so smart. Is that, we've made mistakes, but I don't hide that. I'm human. Parents are human too. There's no such thing as an adult. It's just children in big bodies. Yep. Everyone pretends. There's no lightning you get hit with at 18 and go, I'm an adult now. That's not how it works. Shiloh kind of understands that. So again, not a perfect parent, but I always tried to do my absolute best with all my kids, and especially the ones that were, living with me in home, that I was able to be there for and, provide, behavior for scaffolding, and friendship, companionship, and kind of guide them a little bit through life, introduce them. There's nothing cooler than having a child that's, never been camping, never seen a Jason movie, and you get to introduce them to all these things, and their wonder at experiencing things, getting to share the world with someone for their first time experiencing it. That's what was so fun about raising children. All of them, Shiloh included. It's always nice to be able to be like, this was fun when I experienced it. I'd like to share this with you because I think you would enjoy this too. And then, they get it. Their very first Christmases, I was with Pockets. Again, we were dating, and they weren't living with us yet. Monica and Sabrina and her oldest that was actually adopted by her parents, Jessica. So my very first Christmas with all the kids. And I was told specifically, you can get them anything but a video game. Don't get them video games. The kids had never had a video game. They weren't allowed to play video games.
Which I thought was stupid.
I thought that was dumb. I loved video games growing up. They were an integral part of my childhood. I honestly can't imagine my childhood without video games.
They also teach
hand-eye coordination. I know the benefits. There's actually a lot of good benefits for video games. So that's why I went out and bought them all video games. My very first, don't get them anything but video games. Okay. So I went out and got them all plug-and-plays. It was just these little 10 games a piece that you plugged into the TV, and it was just a controller that plugged into the TV, but there was games on the controller.
Even my mom liked one of them.
Monica had Scooby-Doo, Sabrina had princesses, Disney princesses, and Jessica got SpongeBob.
Yep.
And that was my first Christmas with the kids. I was always kind of like that. I took them camping for the first time. We stayed at a cabin at Salt Springs.
Got Army men?
Well, first, that night, before we get... that night, we first get there our first night. We stay in a cabin. There's nothing in this. It's just a wooden cabin with bunk beds and electricity. So I actually brought a 13-inch TV, and I brought a VCR, and I had recorded, when I was little, Friday the 13th movies off of USA Up All Night with Rhonda Scher. So they had the commercials and stuff, kind of. I think I edited most of them out, like stopped recording at the commercial and then started recording when the commercial was over. But they were edited for TV, so they didn't have like the nudity and stuff like that in it. So they were child-friendly. So I put these two little girls, 4 and 5 years old, in this little wooden cabin in the middle. They'd never been camping before in their bunk beds, and put on Friday the 13th Part 7. And went outside with Pockets. And we're just talking outside by the campfire while the kids are trying to sleep. And we go inside. And Sabrina's like, covering her face with her blanket and her pillow. And Monica's in the bed across and we're going, it's not that scary, Sabrina. And like all like mad at her and matter of fact, like she's just totally like, she's not only not scared, but she doesn't understand how her sister is scared by this anyway, as it is. And Sabrina's like terrified, and again, you can't beat that experience with two. And again, yes, Sabrina was scared, but it's a movie, it's edited for TV, and she has her sister in there with her, kind of helping to calm her down a little bit. It's just funny. That was also the weekend. Yes, we got them. We got them army men, and they're like, "What?" I said, "Go play outside." They're like, "What are we supposed to do?" And I bought them a bag of army men. I said, "Here," and they said, "What do we do with these?" So I put my face in the palm of my hand first.
Yeah.
And then I had to show them how to like build forts out of rocks and like get in sticks and stuff like that. And they thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But like, yeah, this is how you play outside. That was also the weekend that they got, what was it? The lid off of a tote, and we're using it on the wheelchair ramp on the cabin as a sled.
They were using the wagon that we brought, the wagon, and they were both sitting in it and going down the ramp.
Like fast. They're going like down this ramp, this wooden ramp from the cabin. We turn up, we hear two little girls squealing, wham, and they're rolling around. We turn around and there's this like car wreck.
And two little girls laughing,
rolling around in the grass with a turned over wagon. And then I said, "What are you guys doing?" And they both just look over at me and giggle. They don't say anything.
And run back up the ramp.
And run back up the ramp with the wagon and sit back in it. And back down they go.
I'm glad I brought their medical cards with me in case something happened.
Those kids were funny. It was fun being a parent of,
It was funny the one time bringing them to the doctor. Sabrina didn't get her flu shot. Monica did. That night, Sabrina was throwing up in a bucket, and they're in bunk beds. And Monica's leaning over going, "Yeah, next year you're going to get your flu shot, aren't you?" I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was just going to say that, again, but now I don't have to.
They're like 4 and 5, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So like
Monica's saying you're going to get your flu shot next year, aren't
this little 5 or 6-year-old leaning over the top bunk and looking up. Next year you're going to get your flu shot, won't you, Sabrina? Like, she was such a little grumpy mother hen.
Angry.
I say this all the time, I really do. And I don't know how many of you out there know the Powerpuff Girls, but I say this all the time, is that I raised the Powerpuff Girls. And if you look at the personalities of my 3 daughters, they match perfectly. Like, first you have, what is it? It's Buttercup. Buttercup is the angry one with the short black hair, and she's kind of grumpy like all the time. She's got like this stern, firm attitude. That's Monica. Monica's like grumpy cat. That's who she is. I love her to death, but she's been making that grumpy cat, that little frog face, since the day I met her at 4 years old.
Well, she's been doing it. She's been born.
I understand that. Then there's Sabrina, and I love Sabrina to death, and I'm not saying that Sabrina is not. They're not dumb. Sabrina's very intelligent, but she can be very naive at times. Sabrina very much reminds me of Bubbles. The blonde-haired Powerpuff Girl.
And again, blonde hair.
She does have blonde hair. And I'm not saying she is an airhead, but she acts airheaded.
Sometimes she can be an airhead.
A lot. And even she says sometimes I can. Again, if you meet Sabrina, you'll be able to see the correlation between Sabrina and Bubbles. And then there's Blossom. Blossom is the leader of the group. She is smart and compassionate and leads people. She thinks through problems. She remains objective. If you've ever talked to or met Shiloh, you'll flat out see that is Shiloh. She's Blossom. that is completely her personality. Even her teachers are always saying what a leader she is in school. She's always leading and helping her students and helping her peers, and that's Shiloh. So yeah, sugar, spice, and everything nice, and chemical X. Those were my kids, and are my kids. For my daughters, anyway.
Fuck.
You okay?
My hand just froze up. It's because of that. Or I put my hand through the window.
Raising them was
because
fun.
I smoked a lot of weed with Shiloh.
Scaring them was fun when they were little. Jumping out at them and scaring them. Showing them new movies.
Jumping out and scaring them. You freaking gave Sabrina a goddamn heart attack. She was she didn't even run. She just went down and crying. Monica made it over to the other side in 2.5 seconds? I think it was
3 steps.
I was gonna say three steps. She must have jumped over the fucking fire pit.
3 steps.
She must have, because our fire pit is 8 feet across and 4 feet deep.
So
that was hilarious.
I will say this, and it was at the beginning of our journey, because before we had the kids living with us, because there was a lot of it was before we had our first apartment. So basically the first year and a half, Pockets and I were together. We went to music festivals.
I forgot.
We went to keg parties. Pockets did her first keg stand after she met me.
That's because you threw me a keg birthday party.
Threw you a birthday keg party, yeah. I used to do all this fun stuff, right? I was a party dude. Complete and total fucking party animal when I met Pockets.
And I was a complete wildflower.
And yes, you were a wildflower. But again, kids will make you...
docile.
Yeah, make you settle down. And I told her, and I remember our last music festival together was Max Creek.
Yep.
And our last music festival together, and I told her, she's like, well, we can't be doing this all, because we had the kids, they were actually at your parents' house at that point in time. And she's like, yeah, well, we can't be, and eventually it wasn't that we couldn't, we just don't have the money, because going to a music festival costs a few $100s if you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
She's like, we got the kids, can't be doing this a lot and stuff. I was like, I know. And I said, probably won't be for a while. I said, but I tell you this, when those kids are done and they're raised, when we are all done with children, we are going back to 25 years old. We're coming back to this. I'm not going to be 50 years old and done with kids and then, no, I'm 50. I'm too old to do anything. No. So I will say this. Part of me is a little, because I'll get to do some things. I'm going to go to music festivals and stuff again when I'm done raising kids. I'll be able to actually put some money away and save some money. But on the flip side of that, I'm very, very much going to miss my children in the house. I already miss Monica and Sabrina very much. I'm always happy when I do see them or do get a chance to talk to them online. I get excited. There was a whole period of my life that was dedicated to those people, to those little people. And when Shiloh's gone, I'll be sad. I will be. Pockets is going to be too. In fact, Pockets is probably going to be inconsolable for about a month. It'll be another thing I'll have to deal with.
Let's get another dog.
I don't think a dog is going to make you feel better. It's basically we're going to have to adapt to a brand new paradigm of living again. Basically the paradigm that we used to live before. And it's been so long that feels new. There are a lot of...
like change.
I know. I don't like change either. And I am also going to miss children.
I am a mentally ill
but
person. We don't do well with change.
The upside of it is we'll have a little bit more money and we'll have a little bit more freedom.
Maybe I'll be that lucid and not get it. I don't know what's going on.
Why would you say that?
Or my grandmother had early onset dementia.
You're not going to get onset dementia.
Both of them.
You won't. Hush. Because if you end up getting early onset dementia, that's going to put a real damper on going to things like music festivals. So.
Or make them kind of interesting. You gotta look at the bright side of things.
Anyways, we're going to have fun. No matter what. I told you that. No matter what. We are going to have fun. I'll do the whole 51st State thing for you. I'll make a recording of your life and explain your whole life to you and how great everything's been. So that way, every time you're wondering about who you are and where you are, you can just watch that.
Yeah, every 20 minutes.
Sure. Whatever. If that's what it takes, I'll put it on loop for you. Don't worry. I got you. We're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy life. It doesn't seem like you have been now, but we have been. It's the thing, right? You don't think about it. You look back. I was raising those kids in the gut of the city, walking them X amount of, a mile to school. Money was tight, the only one working. Sometimes I was laid off because there's no taping in the wintertime. Unemployment wasn't enough to pay my, other financial obligations, so I'm struggling for money. Always stressed out, always, because the ship is always sinking. I can't keep it afloat. And I remember people telling me, before I ever had kids, when you have children, enjoy them. Enjoy that time when they're small. Because that goes so fast that you don't realize that those are the best years of your life. And that was something I did kind of take to heart. So I remember all those walks to school and telling Sabrina that the blue ribbon's made of cheese, and the first time taking them camping. I savored those moments. Because I knew things were stressful, and I knew that the things could just go up in fucking flames at any minute. But I also knew that there was a good chance they wouldn't, that somehow we'd make it through, and it was important to enjoy the now, to enjoy the time that I did have with the kids while they were children. So, was very, very hard back then. Things were very, very stressful, very challenging, but I wouldn't change anything for the world. Those were really some of the absolute best years of my entire life. As hard as they were, they were fun. And it's kind of hard sometimes to just even believe that part is over, that Shiloh is now almost 14 years old, and the other ones are in their 20s, and I'm 42. I mean, I don't feel like I'm 42, but I recover like I'm 42. I can party like I'm in my 20s, but man, I don't recover like I did. Things are a little bit different now. Like I said, adapting to a new paradigm of life. The Powerpuff Girls. I've told you, man. Sorry, but I did. They very much were and are like the Powerpuff Girls. If you met all three of them, it's just kind of funny. Their personalities are kind of spot on. And it's cool because I always actually liked that show. Everyone always was like, "Oh, you like the Powerpuff Girls?" I'm like, it's actually a really funny show if you can just get over the fact that it's called the Powerpuff Girls. If you watch it, it's hilarious. Most Cartoon Network shows actually were pretty funny. Dexter's Laboratory and shit like that. I mean,
I like that one.
So did I. Dexter's Laboratory was funny. So was the Powerpuff Girls. Just because it was called Powerpuff Girls doesn't mean it wasn't funny. It was actually really good. It was a very good show. And I think it's funny that ended up being my life.
Hey, I told you we were a package deal.
And little girls, man. When I was younger, not just single, but like even as a kid or a teenager, I always thought girls were different. Like, girls grew up and they were like ladylike and they weren't quite as wild. And having my wife and my children
Martin.
throughout the years have shown me little boys are rough and tumble. Little girls are wild.
Just mine.
They're wild. Girls are...
Their Irish side showing.
Little girls are wild.
And they're Native
You don't expect them to... I was like, you guys are supposed to be little girls. Kids are supposed to be little girls. And, yeah, just like little boys. Just running around, getting into everything, getting dirty.
It was hilarious.
Doing things they shouldn't be doing.
They pulled an April Fool's Day joke on him when we were living in that apartment.
Yeah.
They went and they put a pile of books.
Magazines. They were magazines.
Yes,
they put a pile of my gaming magazines in the doorway.
The
between
door.
the living room and the bedroom.
And
the
covered it up with a blanket.
The bathroom was in the bedroom. And they covered up, they put a couple of magazines on the floor in the doorway and covered it with a towel.
Yes.
So when I walked through the door and stepped on the towel, the magazines slipped and I flew through the fucking air and landed so hard. And I hear these two little girls squeaking and laughing in their bed in the bedroom, because I told you got to go through the bedroom to get to the bathroom, and they're laughing and laughing, and I'm ow, and they're like, April Fools.
You have to give them this, okay? They set this shit up the night before when we had put them to bed.
Little girls are fucking wild. They are no different than boys. Speaking of which, I am going to be ending the stream in about 4 to 5 minutes, so just want to give that heads up. But yeah, just to let everybody know. So, but yeah, Sabian has other children. Shiloh is not the only one. She is actually the last one. And soon, it'll be different. Things will change, but eventually there'll be grandchildren. It will happen.
I'm still waiting to see my nephew.
It will happen. Eventually there'll be grandchildren. And I can't wait to be a granddad, because I'm going to be a great granddad.
I said that.
Again, get to show all these things all over again to new children, and then spoil the hell out of them, and then send them home.
Give them a bunch of caffeine.
I like this idea. I like going to Grandpa's. Grandpa gives me monster drinks.
And
here you go, little Timmy. Drink this.
You do that at the end of the visit.
He always gives me a monster right when you come to pick me up.
And when she asks why, we go, revenge.
Well, that's cool. Crows are awesome. They're very smart.
We have a bunch of crows, a murder of crows, actually, that comes every time we go camping.
We already talked about this. It's when we dump our food out in the woods.
Oh my God.
And we leave. They expect us to do it. They wait until we leave and then they go attack our food.
Excuse me, am I I'm bound to feed you
that Sunday
now?
we hear them screaming and calling to each other. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, and they're yelling at me to start dumping the food out. I know what they're doing. Those shits. They can mimic, though.
I am planning the retirement, though. I know eventually I'd like to write my book, and I know where I'd like it to end, and at least
I'm resting.
My portion, or maybe even Shiloh's portion, because she has to finish it.
This book is like The Hobbit.
It's gonna be kayaking on the lake. I gotta start right. I know. I told you I know when I'm gonna start it, and I know exactly how I'm gonna write it. It's my life, so it's pretty easy to remember the events. I will be changing the names of people, so that way I don't get sued. because there won't always be great stories in there about other people, and I'm sure those people could get angry for slander and whatnot. So I'll change the names of people, but keep the basically a retelling of my life. I've lived a very interesting life, very, very, very interesting. Both sides of the tracks. I've mingled with the rich people, and I've hung out with the homeless, and everywhere in between, and I've partied like a rock star. I've raised children. I've worked in an office, and I've worked and am working construction. I've put myself through school after living in a car, which wasn't even mine, just abandoned on the side of the road. I've lived a very, very interesting life, and I'd like to write an autobiography, and I know exactly how it's going to start. I know exactly what it's going to be about, and I know exactly how I'd like it to end. I hope I get there. But I'd like it to end the book itself with me kayaking on a lake somewhere. Not some random lake, some isolated lake. With no houses, no cabins, just in the middle of the woods, kayaking on a lake, fishing, and reflecting on everything that's been my life. And that's how I'd like the book to end. And I'll get there, because I'll be doing that when I'm retired. Whether I live next to that lake or I have to go drive out to it and launch a kayak, that's how my book's gonna end, unless I get hit by a fucking truck or something. That's the one thing that actually kind of scares me a little bit, is that something will happen and before I have a chance to write this fucking thing, because I have a story. I've lived a life that is worth a book, a very large book, and has a wealth of information to provide and a lot of wisdom, and I don't want to depart and shed my mortal coil before I am at least able to put that wisdom down. But I would have to stop focusing on YouTube so much in order to write this, and I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm thinking maybe by the time I retire or by the time I move out of state to go live someplace else, I might stop my YouTube channel, at least the scheduled stuff. I'll probably still write for it, like my Uncle Bob did when he retired and started writing music. I'll still work on it, and I'll still have occasional stories and stuff that come out. It just won't be like every Saturday and whatnot. And that'll be mainly so I can start writing this autobiography. That's what I'll be doing in the background, because I have a story to tell. And I hope I get to tell it. And then Shiloh will finish it, then publish it, and then she'll get all the money from it. Alright, peoples, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish my breakfast and get started on things. I do have to do the narrating that I was supposed to do earlier this weekend and just get that done. That way I can do editing and stuff like that. And we're gonna go from there. So, I love you people, and I will see you soon. I don't have it up yet. The video is done, just gotta do the acting for it, and the reboot this weekend. Good reboot. I like it. You'll see it when the premiere page goes up, and you'll know what it is. But I do love this story. So I hope to see you there this Saturday. I love you guys. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday. Please relax. Stay safe, and stay creepy.